She vanished into a snowstorm and was never seen again. No body, no confession, no closure, just a car, a road, and a girl who seemed to disappear into thin air. This is one of the most haunting, unsolved cases in American history, and the deeper you dig, the stranger it gets. So, it's February 9th, 2004, a Monday night, and Maura Murray, a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts, is driving alone through the White Mountains of New Hampshire. It's cold, it's dark, and the roads are icy. Around 7:27 p.m., her car slides off Route 112 and crashes into a snowbank. A local bus driver named Butch Atwood pulls over and asks if she needs help. She says no. She tells him she already called AAA. He offers again. She says she's fine. So Butch drives home and calls 911 anyway. Here's the thing though, Maura never called AAA. She never called anyone. When police arrived just 15 minutes later, she was completely gone. No footprints in the snow leading anywhere clear. No sign of her. Just the car, some wine, and a cloth pressed against the window that looked like it was meant to keep the cold out, or maybe the light in. And that's where things get really strange.
Before you go any further, if this kind of story keeps you up at night, you're in the right place. We cover the cases that don't make sense, the ones that haunt investigators for decades. Hit subscribe right now so you never miss one. Okay, so here's what investigators pieced together about the hours before the crash. And this is where Maura's story stops being a simple accident and becomes something far more unsettling. That same afternoon, Maura had been involved in a minor fender bender in her father's car hours earlier in a completely different town. She wasn't hurt, but instead of waiting around, she left, drove back to her dorm, and then she started making moves that looked a lot like someone preparing to disappear. She emailed her professor saying there had been a death in the family and she'd be gone for a week. There hadn't been a death. She withdrew $280 from an ATM, nearly everything in her account. She researched ski resorts and vacation rentals in New Hampshire and Vermont online. She packed a bag, and then she drove north, alone, at night, into a snowstorm. No one knew she was going. Not her roommate, not her boyfriend, not her dad, who she just spent the weekend with, and by all accounts had a really close relationship with. So what was she running from, or running to? Here's where investigators, and honestly thousands of internet sleuths, have gone back and forth for 20 years. Some believe Maura staged her own disappearance, that she wanted to start over somewhere new and just walked away from her life. She was reportedly under a lot of pressure at the time. She'd recently failed an exam that could have ended her nursing career. There were rumors of personal problems. Maybe she just snapped. But others aren't buying it, because if you're going to disappear voluntarily in the middle of a New Hampshire winter at night in sub-zero temperatures with no real plan, that's not starting over, that's surviving, barely. And then there's a third theory, one that's darker and honestly harder to shake. Several witnesses in the area reported seeing a truck parked near Maura's car that night, a truck that left before police arrived. Nobody ever identified it. Nobody ever came forward. Did someone offer Maura a ride and take her somewhere she never came back from?
What makes this case so maddening is how many small details just don't line up. Her boyfriend at the time gave investigators inconsistent statements. Her father, who rushed to the scene the next morning, acted in ways that struck some people as unusual, though others say he was just a dad in absolute panic. A witness claimed to have heard a girl crying near the crash site later that night, and scattered across the area over the following weeks were tiny fragments of possible evidence that investigators debated and dismissed and debated again. 20 years later, Maura Murray has never been found,
No confirmed sightings, no credible leads that went anywhere. Law enforcement has revisited the case multiple times. A podcast, a book, and a TV documentary have all taken swings at it. And still, nothing. She was 21 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. And somewhere between that icy road and whatever came next, she just ceased to exist. The White Mountains kept her secret, and so far, they haven't given it back. If you think you know what happened to Maura Murray, drop it in the comments. Seriously, some of the best leads in cold cases have come from people just like you, watching videos just like this one, noticing something everyone else missed. And if this story got under your skin the way it got under mine, there's a lot more where that came from. Subscribe, because next week we're going somewhere even darker. I'll see you there.